What up, what up, what up? Thank you for tuning in to the Swish Masters Podcast, and thank you to our sponsor, SS96. Visit ss96.net and use the promo code Swish Masters for 15% off. Yeah, that's right, you heard me right. 15% off on all store items. Hats, hoodies, t-shirts, whatever you need, SS96 has it. Also, don't forget to go and check out that music from Straight Stoner, produced by yours truly. You know what it is, Gut Gang, mobbing, sleepwalking. We out here. Thank you.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What up? What's happening, Q?
What's happening, Zay? We back again, sir. Back again.
Oh yeah, welcome man. Swish Masters Podcast Live.
Well, Zay, it's been a whole round passed by and concluded since the last time we talked, man. We won't get into all that. We got some WNBA news we're going to get into as well. And I'm sure you all heard about the Twitter beat going on in the Twitter atmosphere. So we'll get into all that. So thank y'all for joining us and rocking with us. And one of the first things we'll get into is, one, we meant to get to this topic sooner, but because of time and whatever, but we want to make sure we acknowledge this player in the WNBA. She's been killing it for a while now. And what we're talking about, of course, is Sylvia. Man, unfortunately, well, I can't say really unfortunately because it's her decision, but she is going to be retiring after this season. And if you guys didn't know who she is or what she does, I want to give you some brief accomplishments that she's done, right? She has a bunch of gold medals, right? She has like a silver medal for the basketball youth, right? As far as like professionally, she was drafted number 2 overall to Minnesota. She has won WNBA titles. She won in 2015 and in 2017. She was WNBA MVP in 2017, as well as a Finals MVP that same year. And guess what? I remember I said she won 2 titles, right? She won Finals MVP both times. She's also the Defensive Player of the Year multiple times. 4 times, in fact. And of course, with that, she got the first team a few times, the all WNBA, second team a couple times, all defensive first team. She's at least 7 times that, all defensive second team. Of course, she was all rookie, all-star, multiple years. The main thing is that she has done a lot for the brand. She's currently a living legend, in our opinion. So, yeah, your reaction to her deciding to hang it up after the season?
Yeah, like you said, living legend. You heard the resume. Champion on all levels, really, at the highest levels. Sylvia Fowles, I'm pretty sure we talked about it before. Just defensive presence, one of the best to ever do it. It's always like bittersweet to see so many great players come and go, but definitely she's given a lot to the game. Like you said, 4-time Olympic gold medalist, WNBA champion. I'm pretty sure she ranks, if not at the top, amongst the top, in blocks leaders. Sylvia Fowles has been one of the many faces that I've enjoyed watching in the WNBA, and it'll be weird, going forward. It's always like whenever one of your favorite players, just a player that you're used to seeing for so long, just is gone. So I'm sure they're gonna feel that effect. I know I will, but I'm happy for her. Shout out to Sylvia Fowles for everything that she's given to the game, and in the next venture, we're gonna obviously enjoy this season with her, and her next venture, she'll be great because she's just one of the greatest people, around basketball.
And not to mention, she's also been a rebounding champion before. And she has so many records with LSU as well. So this is definitely an acknowledgement of her overall basketball career in the Olympics, and with Team USA, also with LSU, as with college, and her professional WNBA career. So again, congratulations and shout out to Sylvia.
Yeah, I'm gonna be watching the links, man. See what Minnesota does. And make one more run at it, send her out on a high note.
Right. So the other thing that happened recently is the WNBA announced another Players of the Week, right, for the East and the West. So you have Ryan Howard and A'ja Wilson. So these two players, you all should be familiar with A'ja Wilson for sure. Awesome basketball player, but the thing we're not really surprised about her getting this accomplishment. The thing we really want to highlight, though, right? Who we really want to highlight is Ryan Howard. She is the number 1 overall pick in this past year's WNBA draft, and she's already killing it. In their debut, they beat the Sparks, right? So it kind of gives the Atlanta Dream some hope, and she has been killing it as a rookie so far. And this is only week 2, and she's making such a huge impact already. She had 19 points this past Tuesday against the Fever. She's just the 7th WNBA player in history to score 100 points in her first 5 games. So she's a bucket getter for sure. She's shooting in a great percentage on threes so far this year. She's at 45.9%, right? And she has only committed 6 turnovers in her 152 minutes of play. So this just shows that she is making it. She is like a great player who is having a positive, immediate impact on her team. And sometimes we want to see this impact being played out in the NBA until like at least a year or 2 in the season, right? But she is already making impact as the number 1 overall pick this season, and everyone is recognizing her. She is recognized to the point where she actually earned Player of the Week as a rookie. This is not Rookie of the Week. This is not rookie focus. This is player. That means we recognize her as a player of the week, not just in her rookie class. So, man, shout out to Ryan Howard. What your reaction to her getting the award so early and being recognized so early as a rookie?
Yeah, I mean, the season just started a couple weeks ago, and to see her exert this type of output at this early stage in the game is really it's really like witnessing a generational talent as we speak. You know what I mean? With how she's been able to be so dominant amongst her peers, which is, grown women that have been playing for a longer time than she has. Easily getting, I think her Player of the Week stats were like 20 points per game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, something like that. But coming in hot immediately. I'm very impressed, and I knew that she was really good in Kentucky, but I didn't know that she would just be this ready in the league. But I'm glad to see it, and like I said, I think we're witnessing generational talent. She keeps this up, going week for week, 20 points per game. She might not even get just Rookie of the Year, but she might be in the MVP conversation. But we'll have to see. But I'm glad to see that, the Dream, I'm sure the Dream are super happy to get, return investment immediately. So shout out to Ryan Howard. Keep hooping. Hope to see it for many, many weeks to come. Shout out to A'ja too. We ain't forget. We know how,
of course.
Well, but it's crazy that, we're talking about A'ja Wilson, and Ryan Howard, the rookie. You know what I mean?
Right. In
Shout out.
the same category, already. And that's what's so cool about it. And we have a lot to be looking forward to based on her just first initial 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
Even though it's only been 2 weeks, it's been like consistent. So it's very exciting to see.
Yeah, I mean, any like level of basketball, you come in and you're a rookie or freshman, whatever you want to call it, and to be that confident, to be that efficient, and to score at that level consistently is lets you know that this is their craft and they've been working hard at it. So love to see it. Shout out to Ryan.
Now let's get into some other NBA news that happened this past week. One of the first things that happened is, of course, the draft lottery. So this is the moment where all teams are hoping and praying for. You worked hard all season just to get where you are. You worked hard all season to tank and to get that number one pick. You are trash as a franchise, and all you want to do is get that sweet number one pick to maybe change your franchise around with this upcoming draft class. And with the draft lottery, there were some disappointments. A lot of disappointments. Okay. Well, the Magic won the lottery. The Magic, and remember they so what's cool about the Magic, they drafted Jalen Suggs last year. They also got Wagner, right? They had two like pretty legit lottery picks last season, and now they're getting the number one overall draft pick. In the history of the Magic, they typically do pretty okay in the draft whenever they have the number one overall pick. Remember they had Dwight Howard, right, which was the right pick. The thing about the number one overall pick is that you do not want to mess up on the pick at all. You want to choose the best player in that draft. Okay, so hopefully we'll see what the Magic do. There are a lot of draft prospects we'll get into in the future sometime. I know one player everyone's really looking at is Chet, right, from Gonzaga, and and the boy from Duke, Pablo, I think that's his name. Yeah, he's someone else. A lot of people looking at. We'll see who gets to be the number one pick, but yeah. Shout out to the Magic. We'll see what this does for your franchise. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But
go to the lottery teams, man. I mean, it's always it's fun to watch the draft and see these guys get their shine, get their moment of welcoming to the league. Also got a shot at your team too, man. I see OKC number 2 right there. So you may have a shot at Chet or Paolo. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Man. Also, there are also some winners and losers based on what happened, where they fell, right? A lot of people think the Blazers are a loser in this case. I think they were like number 7, right? Man, and that's pretty shocking to hear, because everyone's projected a certain way. Like, for example, OKC, we were projected to get at least a number 4, right? Based off our season-ending record. But we so happy to get number 2, which is cool. I think the Pistons were also in play to get like the number 1 pick, but they fell. Right? So I think the Rockets as well. But it's all about how it falls. Everyone gets an equal chance. And remember, the league changed that rule up after it was honestly all Philadelphia's fault. The process, right? All the tanking, and now all teams on the lower seeds have an equal, I think it's 14% chance to get the number 1. So it's like, yeah. But shout out to OKC. We got a stockpile of picks. We hope to build around this talent that we got. So
y'all have 2 picks in the lottery. You got number 2 and number 12, and I'm sure plenty more throughout the draft.
And OKC has so many picks, so we're just trying to rebuild the team like we can, and just build a team. Now we're just really in rebuild mode right now, because as you know, not too many free agents come to OKC. You know, not too many. The last one we had was honestly basically PG, who re-signed with OKC after being traded there first. That was the last major free agent we got before the rebuild happened. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. And
So good.
yeah, if you're one of these teams in the lottery, good luck to your team too. I know I'm really hoping for OKC to build, and we'll see what player we get. If we can get Chet, that'll be great. We gotta see what the Magic do though. But
yeah. We'll see. I think y'all have a good. I think whoever you get, it will be a good pick for sure.
Yeah, because we definitely already have a starting BG. Giddy has turned out to be a very good prospect from last year.
Yeah, sure.
We still have a lot of good young pieces. We still got like Trey Man still there. He had a decent season as well. It's a lot, so we'll see. We'll just continue to build. We'll make noise eventually. I give it about another 2 years. Okay, see, back in the mix. Yeah. So another thing that happened, the NBA announced the all rookie team, right? And it's an entire list. So let's show the people the list real quick. This is your list. So we got Scotty Barnes, got Cade Cunningham, right? Jalen Green, Evan Mobley, and Franz Wagner, right?
Yeah.
So pretty good list. Also, this is the full list for everyone. Part of the second team, you got Herbert Jones, Josh Giddey, boy for OKC. You got Bones Highland. He played really well in Denver. He did.
Oh, yeah.
And unfortunately, these last two, I'm not familiar with. First name is Ayo, and from Chicago, and from Indiana, first name is Chris.
Chris Durate.
Yeah, that's why I want to mess up the last names. Yeah.
And Ayo, I can't even.
I don't want to.
I know who he is. He's backup guard in Chicago. Played the 2. He was pretty good throughout the season. Gave him a little lift in the midseason.
Nice.
But yeah, the first team, solid. You know what I mean? Can't really argue with that.
Okay. So are there like any snubs from the first or second?
I mean,
see. So this is the only thing right now. So there's some other players. I think it was because of the season that they had.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't turn out so well for them, or they weren't recognized on this list. For one player that comes to mind was like, Davion Mitchell.
Oh yeah.
From the Kings.
Sacramento.
Yeah. He's nowhere on this list.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly because of like
Sacramento gets overlooked a lot too.
They do. They do. And another player, is Kuminga from the Warriors.
I mean,
he didn't have that. I mean, it's just a name to throw out there that could have been potentially on the list. I'm just throwing it out there. Now everybody else, not really. Not really. I would throw out there. What's the kid from the Lakers? That kid, the guy from Lakers who was
Green?
on.
Austin Green? I may be in the wrong name. Which one? That's the only one I know of.
Dang. What's his? He was undrafted. Let me see.
I think his name is. Not Austin Reeves. What's the guy's name?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It was Mac Jones.
What's his name? Austin Reeves. That's what I was trying to say. Not Green, Reeves.
Yeah.
I mean,
Austin Reeves. Yeah, there you go. I mean, for the LA faithful out there, I don't know why it took us a minute to get that name, but yeah. But yeah, Austin Reeves, man, he provided a little spark. I think he could have been potential for a second team.
I mean, potential, yeah, but I think what it comes down to is that some of these teams, some of these players, like a Kuminga, for example, I feel like he's more of a guy. It's not like he had a bad season or bad year. He was solid. He fit into the Golden State system.
Yeah.
When it comes to like his statistics and do they stand out compared to the other guys? Not really.
True.
And same thing with Austin Reeves. I think he averaged maybe around 7 points per game. Even though he had a good impact within the team, I don't know if that's going to be more impactful on what these other guys did per night. Because, I mean, like, if you look at the first team, all of those guys were pretty much in Rookie of the Year contention. And then the next, I think Davion Mitchell can make a case because he had a really good season to me. But do I think that Bones Highland or, do I think I can take off Bones Highland or
Oh, no.
any of these guys like that to put Reeves there? I don't know about that one. That's why I'm unsure. But,
yeah.
Opinions are opinions. I think they got it right for the most part for this list.
Yeah. Josh Giddey put out a tweet and it implicated that he was like not satisfied with the list. So it has a lot of us thinking, did he think he deserved to be first team all rookie? So I'm about to put this up again. And I'm like, the only case I will make, because I'm not putting him over Scotty Barnes or Kay Cunningham or Mobley or even Jalen Green. The only person I would even think about switching is Wagner and Giddey.
I gotta pull up the stats.
Wagner, yeah, I had to compare those two stats. But that's the only, because I know for a fact he's not going to get over the other four.
No.
I know for a fact. But I have to look at Wagner's actual stats. I know he had a good impact for Orlando. I know he's a good player. I know he can shoot. He's definitely a really good prospect. But as far as stats goes, I don't know. I think for the most part, I think Wagner started for most of the year. And I think Giddey, he comes off the bench often for OKC.
Yeah.
So maybe that has something to do with it. I think because he had more minutes, he was able to pull up a little more stats maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's the only one I can think of. Now, if I know the stats, it'll be different. You got the stats or anything?
All right, so I was reading a lot, but which plug? Josh Giddey, let me pull up his stats.
Oh, I'm tripping. I have it right here. So he was 12.5 points.
Okay.
12.5. 6
around
assists.
8 more, 6 assists.
Yeah. While
Okay.
Wagner was
He averaged
15. He had 15.
4.5 rebounds and 3 assists.
It's close, but I will say this: he's played 79. He played 79 games. Giddey only played 54. That's probably what the difference is. Like if I'm a voter, I'm looking at how many games they played too.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
Davion is weird though. That's the weird one to me. He didn't make an other list. He had a decent season.
Look at his.
Or Suggs, Jalen Suggs too.
I forget Jalen Suggs is. Well, is he a second-year player?
Is he? No, wait. I thought Jalen Suggs was a rookie.
I have Davion Mitchell's. He averaged 11.5 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists.
Yeah, Jalen Suggs is a rookie. He's just not on this list either.
I feel like he got drafted in.
No, he got drafted. No, he got drafted this year. I think this is how it went. Because the Magic had 2.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, they had 2 picks this past year. They picked Jalen and Wilder.
Yeah. Jalen Suggs averaged 12, 3.5 rebounds, 4 assists. Well, I mean, points wise, Wagner has it. So,
I guess he does. But remember, Jalen Suggs made all the noise before coming into the draft too. So he had some hype around him, but to not, I guess he didn't capitalize on it enough to get the recognition. So it's just, we'll see how it goes. Sophomore season, we'll see things definitely pick up.
Yeah, I feel like Orlando as a team is kind of guard heavy. When you have Cole Anthony, you have Suggs, you have
Fultz.
Yes, Markelle Fultz, who I think came back briefly this season.
He did.
They have
pretty steady amount of guards. Good point. So this leads you to think about what they're going to do with I think Mo Bamba.
Yeah.
His contract is coming up. So, and if they draft Chet,
what's the other big?
Jonathan Isaac.
Not Isaac.
Jonathan Isaac.
No, it's the other guy that they traded for from Chicago. They traded from Chicago.
I know you're talking about. Dang.
His name's
I think it starts with a W.
Yes, Wendell Carter.
There we go. Wendell Carter. So that's another big man they have. So you got so the front court is basically about full. If you think about where they are, and Wagner can play the 4.
They also have
Wagner
Bol.
can play 3 or 4, and they got Bol. So like, where does that put Mo Bamba? So if I'm a team, if I need to stretch big, maybe look at trying to go after Mo Bamba because they may not pay him.
They also had Robin Lopez, R.J. Hampton. I mean,
R.J. Hampton's good.
Yeah. But
he's a good player.
It's weird. I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do exactly.
We'll see what they because you gotta look at the roster and figure out who they may pick up in the morning because they got a stacked front court. I don't know if they'll go after Chet.
They need another.
They need a wing.
Yeah.
They need like a good solid.
Yeah.
They need a good solid defensive wing, and not like 3-and-D player.
And if I'm them, I wouldn't look for that in Chet. I'm looking for him.
Not Chet. Not Chet. Chet would be a good player for like the Pistons. Anyone that needs like a big man. You think about Chet being with Cade, for example, or him being paired up with us in OKC, potentially. Because we need a big man. Yeah. But honestly, what I would do if I'm OKC, I would try to get the number 1 draft the next year. Because there's some, you know what I'm thinking about?
Who you talking about?
Oh, you don't know? Okay, so his name is, I can't pronounce his last name. First name is Victor. I think it's Wembanyama. So I would rather have him. I feel like he's gonna go number 1 overall next year.
I'm gonna have to look into him. Victor.
Look into him, man. He
number 1 player in the nation right now, high school. Or like
he's playing in France right now.
Okay.
International player.
Okay.
But if you look him up, bro, I feel like I would stockpile the picks and focus on getting number 1 next year. Because I think he'll be potentially better than Chet. Because this dude, his wingspan is long. He's tall. He can shoot.
Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah.
Okay. 7'2". Oh. Dang, he's 7'2". Oh, yeah,
he's tall.
He's considered one of the best European prospects of his generation.
Yep.
Okay.
It's coming out next year.
He's been playing professional since he was 16.
I'm telling you. I am going after that.
I have seen this kid before. I just okay.
I'm telling you, I would be looking at that.
Oh,
kid.
that's where I know him from. He played on the international team in the Olympics. He played with Rudy Gobert in them.
Nice. You know what? You're right. I do remember seeing him too.
I remember him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man.
I mean, well, me personally, I'm not a big fan of tanking, but do what you got to do as a franchise.
Oh,
hey.
I don't know where your team at, but if you're in position to tank, I would tank just to get a chance to get him. OKC's case, we got so many picks, we could probably trade up if you want to, if they allow us to trade up, because this is gonna be like that next big. Because honestly, in this year's class, there's no one that's really popping out like that. That's gonna be like, oh, he's gonna make an impact, like Zion, right, or Luka when he came out, right. So this is gonna be that next one.
Yeah.
Mark my words, y'all. Y'all remember this stream, these minutes. Like this gonna come up. Watch. Like if he stays healthy, he's gonna be the number one prospect for sure. But yeah, shout out to all the rookie teams that made the list this year. This list of rookies, they definitely made impacts on their team. Remember, Scottie Barnes won Rookie of the Year. So shout out to him. This is good. This is a decent rookie class right here.
Very nice. It was a good season to watch as far as rookies and younger players. For sure.
Yeah, it's a good rookie class. All right. Other team that was also announced was the all defensive team.
Oh yeah.
The all defensive team was also announced. So let's look at it. We got the full list here. We got Marcus Smart, Kel Bridges, Rudy Gobert, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jaren Jackson Jr., and second team we got Bam Adebayo, Drew Holiday, Batiste Thibault, Robert Williams III, and Draymond Green. And remember, with these lists that these players make, they can cash in on different bonuses. Like shout out to Drew Holiday. I think he got 120,000 bonus. It was at least 100K plus for making this list. So, yeah, one of the list of standouts to me that made the list, and is well deserved, by the way. I don't know how you feel about this. This is gonna be interesting. So as you can see on the list total, Bam was away by 1 point. 1 point to get into the first team. 1 point. He had 152. Jaren Jackson had 153. So that's the debate here, right? Because I know you love your boy Bam. I love him too. But Jaren, you saw in the playoff series, this man's a blocking monster as well. Getting these blocks. So I don't know. Are you satisfied with the list, considering where Bam is? Because we both know he could have went first team too, but I'm not. All right, Marcus, no. Mikal, no. Giannis, definitely not. Rudy, he got so many points. He got 171, so I can't really say him. But I don't know. Where are you going with that?
In my mind, Bam is obvious first team all defensive player. But I think, and that's no slight to Jaren Jackson Jr. by any means. Like I said, I got the chance to really see him flourish on the defensive end, especially in this year's playoffs. Shout out to him for making the first team, and so great recognition. But I think if Bam would have just had more games to play because of his surgery that he had, he was out for a few games. If he would have had more those few games that he didn't play, he probably would have been in first team. But it's kind of weird to think, and maybe maybe I have bias because I'm a Heat fan and I like Bam. But at the same time, I think when it came to Defensive Player of the Year, he didn't even finish in the finalists. That one was kind of like baffling to me. So I feel like for him to get second team, I'm not really surprised. But I think that he's more of a first team all defensive player. And I think that if he would have just gotten a few extra games that he missed due to injury, he would have been there. But that's just me. But I mean, still, at least he is being recognized as one of the best players in the league as far as like as far as defense goes. He's still getting that recognition. So shout out to him. And now, just go out there and prove it.
Yeah, I think because he got the recognition and the honor this year, well, he'll automatically be a front runner for next year. As far as a defensive player as well, and as well as going for the first team. Because we see the name now, the media is familiar with it now, the media is paying more attention to him. So we'll see. Because in my mind too, I think he's definitely first team as well. But I think it's literally a toss up between him and Jaren. But Jaren got the most votes. He got the most votes by 1 point. And let me look at this one more time, because interesting. Okay, so this is what happened. Bam actually had more first team votes. Bam had 57 first team. And Jaren Jackson had 55 first team. But the difference is with the second team. I guess some people didn't think Bam didn't deserve to be. That's what this means. To me, that means he didn't deserve to be his second team either. They picked somebody else. Because as far as second team votes go, Jaren got 43 and Bam only got 38. That's what the difference is. That means for some reason some people didn't feel right to vote for him.
So
for either team. That's what happened. But Marcus, the other thing to stand out too, Marcus he's like unanimous. He got first team automatically. That's something else to really look at here. He got 99 first team. No second team votes. So he leads all of them in it. So that's pretty
I can't argue with him. His steals total was crazy this year too.
So I was saying that's something to stand out and look at, like, and recognize. To get 99 votes, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to the all defensive teams. To these players getting this money. Go and get that money, get that bonus. It's well deserved. Now, to our final piece of like NBA news or whatever. Y'all know we like to look at these tweets. It's something we started recently. So we're gonna react to some latest NBA tweets. And one of the first things we want to react to is KD put a tweet out there first. This is pretty interesting. He said, "What centers from the 90s will be in the MVP conversation if they played in today's NBA?" KD got some different responses. The whole NBA world was answering to this, right? But we get to learn KD and who he thinks. He thinks it's Pat Ewing, Shaq, and David Robinson. That's what he put. And what's cool is LeBron actually responded to this as well. He said Shaq, Hakeem, the Dream, Olajuwon, and the Admiral, which is David Robinson. So, yeah. And let's just thinking about this as well. So, who you think? You guys thinking about the topic as well. What centers from the 90s would be in the MVP conversation? Who you got?
I think if you take Shaq pretty much in any era and he's healthy, even if he's not playing today's style of basketball, shooting a lot of threes, jump shots, whatever, he is just the most dominant force we've ever seen. So I think Shaq can easily be in that conversation. And also, Shaq is my favorite center of all time. Just putting it out there. So, but anyway, still, obviously, I think the obvious answer is Elijah, because he already was kind of the mold of what the bigger players in the NBA do today, because of how he was not just back to the basket, but he was also great at it. He was able to shoot mid-range. He was able to face up. He could do a lot with his handle in comparison to his other center counterparts in the 90s. And I think someone else tweeted that too, is that he would probably, continue to develop his skill set, develop his shot, and he would probably add some corner threes or whatever. And it's not like he even needed it because of how dominant he was already, but I feel like Elijah would be like a shoe-in to be an MVP conversation type of player in today's game. As far as let me see, who else was there? David Robinson. I think that's a good pickup. Very athletic, obviously very strong. Could score with the best of them. And I think he would probably develop his jump shot a little bit more too. So I guess LeBron said that. So I guess I agree with LeBron for the most part. Those are the top three that come to mind. Then someone else that I would think about it would be like thriving. I wouldn't say an MVP, but would thrive in this era probably be Sabonis. Not today's Sabonis, but Sabonis of the Trailblazers in the 90s.
He's really underrated, man. His passing ability from back then. You think Jokic is he's a great passer for a big man, but Sabonis, he was a great passer.
Oh yeah,
in that position for sure. And he doesn't get as much recognition, but I think people inside the NBA circles, they know that, I think he would have had a chance to be flashy in this NBA. And he could potentially be in the conversation as well. So yeah. I guess I'm gonna bring up some names no one really said.
Okay.
What about the Kimbe?
I mean MVP.
And this is just a notable center from back then that wasn't really mentioned.
Oh yeah, I think he'll be a great player, obviously, but I don't know if he'll be in the MVP conversation.
Defensive player for sure, but I agree. But you don't really win MVP just because of defense. You have a whole separate award from that. So I don't know.
The Kimbe could probably score a good bit in today's game, and pick and roll. I think he would be great, but I don't know if he would have the scoring prowess or just the impact on both ends of the floor like a MVP caliber type of player, like a Jokic, who just won MVP. I don't know if he's doing that type of action and impact on offense. Defense, yeah, you're probably not gonna score on him on the inside most of the time. So,
right. What about Alonzo Mourning though?
Also a big fan of Zoe.
You should be. That's your guy. Heat.
Oh yeah, legend. But again, defensively, he would be very active. But offensively, I don't know if he had that type of, if he would be able to develop that type of game to where he's thriving and being able to be a top scorer for a team. I don't feel like he was really that in his own career, but he was impactful and obviously a beast in the paint. But
yeah, I
wouldn't say MVP.
Got you. Yeah, I was just bringing up some other names because for the most part, I think everyone agrees. Whether it's David Robinson, Shaq for sure,
I like
Or,
Patrick Ewing too.
yeah, I was about to say his name too. Patrick Ewing. He definitely would have been in today's NBA, and it's so soft compared to what it used to be. I'm thinking about the game last night. There's some calls last night that we're like, really? So we're gonna get into that later too. But yeah, that was a good question though. Good question. Another thing that happened on NBA Twitter had this out there: the highest paid players in the NBA for next season if they opt in, right?
Yeah.
So you got Steph Curry, $48.1 million. You know, remember he signed an extension like a couple years ago, so it's kicking in.
Mm-hmm.
So James Harden, 47.4, John Wall, 47.4, Russell Westbrook, 47.1, LeBron James, 44.5, and Kevin Durant, 44.2. These are your highest paid players in the NBA. 3 of them didn't have such good seasons. I'm just saying.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Can someone donate just 1% of their salary to the Swish Masters Podcast? Just 1% of 42 million, whatever. Just, man, you know how crazy that would be?
I can't imagine. That's crazy.
This is interesting.
Very. So, of course, Steph is going to be well deserved of that contract. James Harden, if he's smart, should opt in. There's no way. Russell Westbrook too. If you're smart, opt in. John Wall, same thing. Because if you go ahead and get the bag, don't even opt out. Opt in. LeBron, well deserved. I think he'll get, whenever his next deal is going to be, he'll definitely have more money. KD as well. But remember, Russ got that contract after KD left OKC.
Mm-hmm.
And OKC definitely want to take care of him, so for choosing to opt back in. So this is the last year from that contract, from that extension. Because he was the highest paid player until Steph got it.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Yeah. It was well deserved. Nobody really complained either because Russ won MVP that year too. He lived up to the contract.
For sure.
He got an MVP out of it. James Harden with Houston. This is a contract left over from Houston. He deserved that contract too. He won MVP. He got his team to the playoffs. They were a factor. The only one is John Wall. To me, like, I'm trying to think about when he got that contract. I can't remember. John Wall has been dealing with so many injuries these past couple of years, so I'm wondering when did he get it, and why isn't Bradley Beal? Like, Bradley Beal should have this money compared to John Wall right now.
I think this contract went into play around 4 or 5 years ago, like right before
the injuries, right?
Right before the Achilles, I believe, and he was. I think at that time he was still like all-star level, but you know, we know the story. He injury, trade, injury again. You know, and it's unfortunate because you just hate to see guys get injured.
All right.
But also, he hasn't really, for the most of this. I want to say most of this contract, he hadn't played. Maybe he hadn't played a third of a season, you know, in a while, and he's still getting like top of the league type of money, literally. Yeah. So it sucks for owners or, you know, payroll, but good for him.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just wondering now if you're Washington, like, well, it's like he's down there. The contract's down their books anymore, so it doesn't matter. But I'm thinking back then to give him that contract right then, like, for it to be that long. Because to me, John, you give that type of contract to players like, for example, like Luka. You know he's gonna be like a franchise player for like John Wall. At that point, he was an all-star level, but I didn't think of him as like just a superstar franchise player like that.
Yeah.
You know, he was getting towards that. That's why I'm saying I wanted to pay them that much right away, though. But you already talked about the reasons about Harden and the rest got it, and those are well deserved. Steph, of course, and LeBron and KD, yeah, but the biggest one who's like John Wall that sticks out to me right there. And no offense to John Wall, it's just
I don't know what's gonna happen with him either, but
we'll see. It's a big season for three of those players on the list. James Harden, big season coming up. Russell Westbrook, huge season coming up. And John Wall, the main thing he needs to do is get healthy first and go from there. Because I want him to find a team too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. We'll take a pause right here so you show you this last Twitter thing going on. Just watch this.
I believe you, but what I'm saying
He's
is
finessed the game to a point where he gets all the petty calls, all the swipe throughs at the end. I mean, this guy is out, man. We gonna be honest. We want to be really honest.
Yes.
He should have fouled out. He should have fouled out. The last game too. You see the replay against Brunson. Hit him on the shoulder. Hit him in the mouth. Ref don't call anything. If that's me, review it. Flagrant one. If that's him, they don't call it. So let's not get it twisted, man. He should have fouled out. He can't guard. He literally can't guard.
he can't guard.
Yeah.
He can't. Chris Paul can't guard anybody. Is that what you say?
Did you see that? No, he can't. Everyone knows that.
Excuse me. No. I don't know that. I haven't heard anybody tell me that.
Because you haven't suited up. You know, guys don't like to tell you all the truth. You know that because they scared. They scared what you gonna take with it.
No, he's right about that. They will lie. He's honest. They will lie. That is true. He's not lying about that.
CP can't guard nobody, man. Everybody in the NBA know that. Everybody know that.
Can't guard anybody.
What we call them? Cone. You know what you do with cones? Like when in the summertime, you got a cone. You make a move. What does the cone do?
Stay still.
Exactly. Yeah. He's a cone. Stop playing, man. Everybody knows that. Everyone knows that. It's just y'all don't want to accept it because.
No, I don't accept that. No. I'm saying again, if you're taller than them, you can shoot over him. Obviously, that's an issue.
But give him the Ben Simmons slander. Give him the PG-13 slander.
Whoa.
Give him the slander that you give everybody. Come on, Steve.
First of all, watch yourself now.
Come on now. Come on now.
Don't compare CP3 to Ben Simmons.
No, I didn't compare. I said the slander. Ben Simmons didn't show up. I said the slander.
Ben Simmons didn't show up.
I said the slander.
Well, what's the slander? I'm going to give you, if you show up, listen, listen. I consider a guy that's an elite defender. You know how I feel about you.
The best in the world.
Well, I wouldn't say the best in the world, but I get you. I know that you're an elite defender. I'm giving you props for that, my brother.
The best in the world.
Okay, well, you should feel that way about yourself. I don't feel that way about you, but you should feel that way about yourself.
ESPN gave me the numbers.
That you're the best in the world?
It's Giannis at 41.3%, and it's Patrick Beverley at 41.9%, which means if you have the ball and Patrick Beverley is guarding, it feels like Giannis is guarding you. I'm only 6 feet. Yeah. What do you want me to do?
Well, I did say
the greatest in the world.
Tom, I did say you were an elite defender. Be happy with that.
No, I can't.
Be happy with that for the moment.
Let's stay on topic.
For the moment. My point.
Dang, man. that right there. So let's set up the show y'all before how that built up to that real quick. I feel like there were signs before he even got on TV. For example, Jeremy Lin put a tweet out there saying, "Dang, I really hope CP3 gets a championship before he retires." This is like right after he lost, right? And then Jeremy Lin, he said he deserves one. Then right after that, Pat Beverly was like, "What you mean he deserve? Why did he deserve it more?" You know, we should have known then that something was like about to come out. This was like from the 15th, right?
Yeah.
And after that, Damian Lillard was laughed at that too. He thought that was funny. Focus on that for a second here. This all gonna make sense in a second. I mean, Damian Lillard is laughing at the fact that like he out there laughing that he agrees with him, or laughing that it's a terrible take or whatever. But we'll see. Then you just saw the clip talking about he can't guard nobody, calling Chris Paul a cone, to calling like just he's saying give him the slander. He's all for the smoke. For that he wants CP3 to get. All right, for some reason. All right. Then Dame was like, "Man, what CP do to you?" You know, because this man is like his rounds on ESPN talking trash. And the dude was acting brother on TV, acting like his word is law, speaking on private convos and praying on their downfall. this weird behavior, shaking my head. I ain't got a horse in the race. And if you watched ESPN with Pat Beverly on there that whole day, he was just getting on CP3. He's like revealing private conversations, just talking about like, oh, people don't think highly of the Suns. And he revealed Paul George's name in it. I'm like, come on, Patrick. And then they ain't put this out there because nobody guarding this man. it's this tweet like StatMuse. I think he averaged 11 points, 4.8 assists, and 3.2 rebounds in 6 games in the playoffs. Right. When Kevin Durant joined in, talking about he put this tweet out there. You know, he running around the world like he Pac. You know, remember that from Kanye. And then Danny Green got on it too. Talking about people targeting you too, Pat Bev. You ain't playing no defense out there. Right. Then lastly to this Twitter beef so far, he replied back to him with a retweet that says that Luka never scored in the 28 possessions he was guarded by Patrick Beverly. I would have to back up that stat, but you know it was enough for Patrick Beverly to retweet it and be like health and wealth to Danny Green. Like that's basically a lot. All that to say this. Patrick Beverly is a hater. That's all I gotta say. That's all that shows me, sir. And this is what makes it worse too. I ain't mentioned this. On the same show, that same day, he's talking about give James Harden his money. He deserves a supermax. We talked about this conversation already ourselves. We like, there's no way we giving James Harden a supermax contract. And all Beverly's argument was, oh, he's like 28-9, what he did in the past, right? What about what CP3 did in the past? Like, be consistent. That's how you know it's a clear agenda here. I don't know, what's your reaction? I'll say more later.
Bro, Patrick Beverly woke up on a mission to slander and shock and awe the entire world with his ESPN tapes. I mean, it's crazy to think that one person can, you know, just say so much blasphemy over a week. And I get it. You know, he's on the court. We're watching. You know, maybe he feels different. Maybe he thinks that, you know, CP3 is not as good as the rest of the world seems to think he is. That's his take. But at the same time, I feel like there was so much behind that the CP3 is a cone. CP3, you can't. He needs all the slander. Why though? And then like he explained it. I think he went on Stephen A's World and was talking about how he was at LeBron's camp or something and was destroying Chris Paul and all this. It's like, all right, cool, but you hadn't won a championship. You hadn't been an all-star. And Chris Paul is still in the discussion of one of the greatest point guards of all time. Is Patrick Beverly in that conversation? Not really. I mean, respect to Patrick Beverly. You know what I mean? I respect what he does on the court, but I don't expect him to be CP3. I would expect him to be better than CP3. And this is the thing. Like another person that you didn't mention, like that was, you know, coming at him, Matt Barnes, who is also an ESPN analyst from time to time. He had a good point, and I think it brought up a lot of stuff on Twitter. But Matt Barnes basically said that, you know, you can't go on ESPN and say all this stuff, and you're bringing so much personal into it. I feel like as an analyst, your job is to look at it from especially like ESPN. It's not a podcast. It's not like Matt Barnes can talk all the crap he wants to on his own podcast. But when he's talking about you going on ESPN, you going on national TV, you're not. It's for, we know it's for. It's get the ratings up. TV. Patrick Beverly, he's gonna say something crazy, right? But that's just egregious to go at this man for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, you just came on the show and like CP3 is trash. stump his name all I can. It's just like, dang, dude. Like, and everybody also got on Matt Barnes for coming to his defense. But Matt Barnes said that, he and Patrick Beverley are role players. They're never going to be in the same conversation as a CP3. Yes, come on. And at the end of the day, he can't really validate any of this stuff that he's saying, because it's like, oh, private conversation, and oh, I destroyed him in this camp. Oh, all these other things. But we know the public history of it is you already got beef with this man from when you pushed him in the back walking to the huddle. I mean, obviously we know Chris Paul can be a pesterous, trash-talking player, but at the same time, he's Chris Paul and he's done his... We know what he's capable of. Pat Bev just was on a rant for whatever reason. It's funny. And one more thing about the Matt Barnes thing. Everybody talked about how he came to Chris Paul's defense, and got on Pat Bev, but when it came to Kwame Brown, he didn't keep the same energy. That is completely different, because first of all, Chris Paul, second, Kwame Brown, and third, Patrick Beverley. These names will never be in the same mention if you're not talking about this situation. And Matt Barnes, respect to Matt Barnes, because like he didn't go on ESPN slander Kwame Brown or anybody. He went on his own podcast, and everybody has done that. Stephen A. Smith is famous for saying Kwame Brown is trash on TV. And then Kwame Brown, after 15, 20 years, decided to say something. And they stopped talking because, the man was probably been hearing it for years, and he stopped talking about it. In this case, he went on national TV and just slandered for no reason. This is completely different. So, Patrick Beverley just, I'm good on seeing him on ESPN as an analyst or whatever. Like they knew what they were doing. They got their TV ratings, but Pat Bev is just outlandishly wild for that, to me.
Yeah, I think they got some of the highest ratings for like that week when he was on there. Like that, I ain't gonna lie, it was entertaining as I don't know what though. I was very entertained by what he was saying.
It's not factual. It's more so of entertaining. It's shock and awe.
I was very entertained by what he was saying. Like, I hope Charles Barkley stays a long time. I think he was talking about retiring in like a year or two. Mm-hmm. But if he ever does, man, Pat Bev is like, he's unfiltered to a certain degree, and we could potentially have, another, because Charles will speak his mind. And that's where a lot of that entertainment comes from, But we'll see. But the thing is, and they got Draymond too. Draymond does speak his mind too. So I don't know. We got some good potential people that could be, commentators. So we'll see. But I was very entertained, and along with that too, I agree with everything you said about Barnes. I have no problem with him going at it. We speak highly of Kwame Brown on this show. We respect Kwame Brown as a player. Just in case, like we respect Kwame Brown, and let everybody else know that too. We don't want the smoke. Yeah. Man. It's something though. It's very entertaining. He's been on ESPN all week. Honestly, he's probably gonna be on there again next week too, just because of what he did. So be prepared. This will not be the last time you hear Patrick Beverley.
No, unfortunately.
But to put private conversations out there, that's my main thing. To put private convos out there and put the names on it, that's like the most. So I'm ready to see how people go at him next season. Doing all this talking, he's still the active player. So we'll see how this goes for him next season. And I think you got to go back to Draymond Green. He is an analyst, being paid as an analyst while playing. When you think back, I think he kind of opened Pandora's box a little bit. This means more players may be eligible to do it. And they can be, it's hard to be completely professional in ESPN, right? In this analyst world, and still be at the player, because eventually it's going to mix, because the people that do it now, they're not playing anymore, right? And they can only be in that mode, right? It takes a certain nuance to do that while doing both, and as more players do it, we may see more instances where private conversations be exposed, right? Whereas a player may slip up and say a name, right? Although Patrick Beverly did it on purpose, but there could be some players that do it accidentally. You know, it has to be very like nuanced working in the media, which is different between having your own podcast and being like in the media. Because podcast, that's fine. In the media, it's like it's a bigger platform. It's played everywhere around the world. They have so many different platforms within that medium, so it's a lot. So it's just something to think about. But yeah, that's the Twitter beef, and that's all the latest NBA news. Let us know what you think about these and more, right? Man, that's crazy.
Went on a tear, man.
he know he was doing.
Yeah, for sure.
He had a clear agenda. It was very clear what he was doing.
Oh yeah.
Makes no sense.
I mean, do you think? I mean, if it's a check for him, but I just feel that when you, like you said, it's a difference between having your own platform, podcast, or whatever, versus being a part of national media, national television. And I felt that was just a bit more leaning into his own personal stuff instead of, more realistic takes on different topics.
Yeah, and I say this too. Everyone has a bias, right? You have a bias for a team or a player. That's fine. All players, all analysts, all of them have a bias, whether they admit to it or not. They do. But it's just fact of like not making it personal. Don't make it so personal. And recognize the bias and state it, right? Like, I'm normally say it all the time. Like, I'm a Russell Westbrook fan, right? So most times I'm not. I'm gonna defend the man because I like Russell Westbrook, and I always make sure to state it first before I make my opinion. So yeah, so that's stuff like that. But now let's get into the playoffs. The game's about to come on soon. Let's get into it. But first, let's talk about the predictions from last time. So, so the Celtics defeat the Bucks 4-3, right? Mm-hmm. So they won Game 7. Then Game 7 was so disappointing to me. It was like a game until it wasn't. And particularly it was like that third quarter where it kind of got out of hand. So remember the Bucks were without Chris Middleton. And what does this playoff loss mean for Giannis? I just noticed a typo right there. But anyway, what does the playoff loss mean for Giannis?
It's not on Giannis. Giannis did his part and still had one of the craziest series we've ever seen based on his stats alone. It was just unfortunate that they weren't able to advance despite, him having crazy numbers. But Boston has been very good so far in these playoffs, and all of their guys stepped up in the right ways. Marcus Smart making up for that play when, Drew destroyed him on defense, and playing big in that Game 7. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, all those guys really stepped up great. But I think what it says for Milwaukee is that you have to have another guy that can distract teams long enough to give Giannis a bit of a break and give, the team some extra scoring. It seemed that not only could they not really get stops, but you couldn't get anyone else to contribute on the offensive side of the ball, with Giannis, getting his possessions, but Jrue Holiday making some shots. Brook Lopez should have been more of a factor. And then the role players, just no one really gave that right amount of a boost. Pat Connaughton was good, making some, key shots, but they needed Middleton's 24 to 20, like 20 to 26 points, because that would have taken a load off of Giannis. So it's unfortunate, and hopefully Middleton comes back, safe, healthy, and ready to go next year. But they just didn't have enough offensively in the tank to keep up. Not only that, but Boston played great team defense too.
Yeah, it's a defense that really showed up for Boston. And within the series again, you see why they missed Chris Middleton. They, despite how well Drew Holiday played in the series, you can tell they still needed that bona fide scorer, right? There was only so much Giannis can do. As far as Giannis' legacy is concerned, I don't think it really impacts it that much. He took it 7 games. He didn't get swept.
Yeah.
At least he didn't get swept. He took it 7 games, the farthest as he could. They did not have the home. They did not have the home court advantage either. So this also goes back to when Milwaukee sat as players, and they kind of allow. It's like when you remember, it was like towards the last games of the season. They purposely sat a lot of their players, and it allowed Celtics to win, and they got the seat above them, because I think the Bucks wanted to avoid Brooklyn, understandably, but it kind of turned them back to bottom. Because imagine if they had home court in the series, it could have maybe could have made a difference. But it goes to show you that not everything goes out as planned. Just because we don't know the reason why they did it, but it seems like they wanted to avoid Brooklyn to purposely lose that game. So something to think about too. But as far as what they need to do, they already have a championship caliber team. They just need to get healthy and go from there. Just get healthier.
Yeah.
That's it. Or maybe expand the depth a little bit more if they can.
Sure.
Because Boston has so much depth compared to Milwaukee. And again, they were without Chris Middleton, but they have a lot of other players too. Like Pritchard was an effective player in that series. So yeah. And Grayson Allen had a couple good games, but if you can get like another good scorer that can come off the bench, that would be very helpful, especially if Chris Middleton gets hurt again. You know who to go to for scoring. So yeah, that's that for the Bucks. But so I guess overall, I went for the Bucks this series, so I lost. So shout out to you. It was definitely Celtics in 7. So shout out to you.
Man, we were texting through the week. You were calling a lot of these games, but ultimately Milwaukee was unable to close the series off.
Yeah, it happens. So another series to get into. The Suns were eliminated. Remember, before when this all started, they led the series 2-0, right? Yeah, 2-game head start. Yeah, and the Mavericks won the series in Game 7. This game was terrible. I know how much I was looking forward to Game 7s, and both of them turned out to be trash. Come on! When I think of Game 7, I think of competitive and down to the wire. Those type of games. These games were blowouts, both of them, and the Suns was the worst. I think they were down by the most in NBA playoff history at the half in the Game 7. I think it was at least 30 something, and it was terrible. CP3 was bad. Devin Booker was bad. This team as collective was terrible. It was just such a bad look. And apparently there are reports out now after the fact that CP3 could have been hurt. I think it was a quad injury that was reported. Mark Spears reported it on his Twitter. And Mark Spears is a well-known NBA reporter. So if he put that out there, That means Chris Paul definitely probably had it. He denied to comment on it. So if this is true, it would explain why he was bad. You know, because remember, after he turned 37 or whatever, he was like terrible the rest of the series. So we were wondering, is it old age or is it like something else? But if that injury had anything to do with it, that would make sense to me. And to play through that injury anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, how does this affect the Suns and CP3's legacy?
Man, it was such a disappointing way to go out. You know what I mean? There's nothing worse than you get to get to a game 7. To get to this point, you've been battling all series long, and it's been, they take a game, you take the game. They take a game, you take the game, and finally you get to the conclusion of the series, and to go out by 30 at the half. I was texting you. I was like, I'm not about that. If nothing happens like midway through third, that's it. I'm about to start watching, I don't know, something else. I can't do that. And for them to go out that way was just disappointing. CP3, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, none of them could put the ball in the basket. And I don't know why. And it just was disappointing. Shout out to Luka. Shout out to Spencer Dinwiddie in that series. They were amazing, especially in Game 7. Each of them getting 30. They look great, but I think as far as CP3, the injury makes sense. At times, I think that when I was looking at him, he just didn't look like he was mentally, to me, he just didn't look like he was mentally in the game. Maybe something was bothering him. I know that the thing happened with his family on Mother's Day, like when a family members got pushed or something in front of his kids. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but he definitely didn't look the same after that second game. And knowing him, he probably was trying to battle through the injury. Didn't want to, make a big fuss about it. But it really sucks because I feel like this was like another, like one of his prime chances to get to championship contention. You know what I mean? To get to the championship and win it after like coming off of their finals run last year and now they're out in the second round. It just sucks. I don't think it does major damage to his CP3's legacy. I just think that the championship window is very much closing at this point. If it's so many questions that have come from this loss is that, DeAndre Ayton was, didn't get that extension that he was looking for. So now what are they going to do with him after that last game? That's even though we know how good he is throughout the season, what's going to happen like after this, because that's the last thing that we as viewers have seen on the basketball court. And he wants, a bigger contract, a bigger role. Devin Booker, I think he'll be fine. I think he just had an very off game. Like I said, I think CP3's championship window is very much not shut completely, but very much almost closed. So, got to see where it goes from there. But I don't know, man. The Suns that was disappointing. I was like, this can't be real. I just knew that there was, even if you lose by 10, 15, not 30, not 40, 50, that was insane to watch. So that's what my thoughts are. I don't know, man.
Yeah, just to clarify, man, this is how bad it was. Like, CP3 was worse by the halftime, but it was like he picked up scoring at the end. That wouldn't really help. But he ended with 10 points and 4 assists. Right? Devin Booker had 11 points. Terrible shooting percentage. Right? Plus minus is terrible. And to note, Aiden only played 17 minutes. And that goes to something happened on the bench, between DeAndre Ayton and Monty Williams. And Monty Williams decided not to speak about it. He said that it was internal. We don't really know what's going on there, but we can only assume, like you said, it's about his contract extension. But to let that affect the game right there, though, you know, in the game 7, when you have championship aspirations, it's kind of bad. But to go out that way to the Mavericks, who no one really predicted they'll be in this situation, right? Clearly, we both thought like the Suns were at an advantage here. We chose them to win.
I picked the Suns to go back to the finals.
So this is definitely a disappointing season if you're the Suns. What does this mean for CP3? It's like man, another one. You know, it's another chance for him to have an opportunity to advance in the postseason, and then here it goes again. Now it's like an injury. CP3 has been known to have these injuries in these playoff runs when you're like almost right there. I remember the time when he was with the Rockets, right there, but he was out due to the injury, and I just kind of hate it for him because he's been trying. He changed his diet up. He's been working really hard, but to just constantly get these injuries is, I don't know how he's feeling, because it's got to be surely disappointing, especially when you're so close. And this is why it's important to like get these games out the way. And one of the things that the Mavericks did is they put CP3 in these different situations where he had a guard, where he had a guard Luka, right? And they were working him on the defensive end, and it's like, I guess it wore his body down over the course of the series. You know, fatigue does build up, especially he's such an older age right now. So shout out to Jason Kidd for coming up with that game plan, because it definitely worked. And as far as Devin Booker goes, I don't know, the Mavericks actually stepped up to have pretty good defense. That was surprising to see. So overall, CP3, it's not looking good as far as his legacy is concerned, though, because we all want him to get one. We all do. Man, but yeah, it's just it's hard to see. I can't see him getting one now anytime soon, because the West is going to get healthier. You know, the Clippers will be coming back next season. They should be, if everything's going well with Kawhi's health and PG's health. And the Lakers, you got to assume they'll always be a factor just because they have LeBron James. And we see the Grizzlies coming out now, and the Mavericks definitely now, and it's just hard to see. And there's some teams that didn't make the postseason that we normally expect to be there. Like, we expect the Nuggets to go further. They're probably fully healthy, right? And what about the Trailblazers? Normally we see Dame in there, but he was hurt this season. Maybe he would have got in. The Pelicans seems to be on the rise too. So it's just tough.
It's gonna get tougher. Yeah.
It's only gonna get tougher for CP3. It's like you had 2 prime opportunities this season and last season. Still couldn't get it done. Same thing happened last season. They were up like 2-0 to Milwaukee, and Milwaukee came back and won the series. So it leads me to think about his time with the Clippers with Doc, all those blown leads, and here we see it again with the Suns. And even though it's just 2 games to nothing, it's still 2 games, and your team is definitely capable enough to win on the road. Yeah. But it's tough for CP3. Is he a top 5 PG still in your mind?
Top point guards of all time. Top 5? I wouldn't say top 5.
The reason I said top 5 is because remember when he made a finals run last year, a lot of people were thinking about him as top 5. So
I mean, it's kind of hard. I gotta really wrap my mind around who's point guard and everything.
And you got to think about it like
I wouldn't say top 5.
I wouldn't say top 5 either, because because all the 5 have a chip, at least. You know.
Yeah.
And he's ahead in the record books, true, but it takes more than that to be like an all-time point guard. And unfortunately, he just took another hit. So, yeah, top 10. Yeah, what do you think? Top 10 at least.
I'll say top 10. I don't think they're.
But so if I put them top 10, it's like towards the lore of the team still. Like,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like. Because you got to think about all the guards in NBA history. And some of the guards that are playing now, like Steph Curry, would still, you know. So it's tough. It's tough. Dang. I just hate it. I just hate it for him. And one more thing. Monty Williams just won Coach of the Year.
Oh,
and to not have your squad ready for a Game 7? I at least expected the Coach of the Year to have his squad ready, and I hate that for him too. I just wanted to be at least a little bit more competitive, not a blowout like that. And this is like everybody on Twitter got at him. Like everybody on Twitter was going at the Suns for having this blowout like that. Anthony Edwards got on them too. Like y'all talked about us not hoping this to be the playoffs, and y'all getting like blown out at halftime. Like it's a lot, and hate it for the Suns.
Yeah, I mean, just whatever you do, you take the loss, but not like that. Not 30, 40 points. That's where I'm like, all right. That's why it's disappointing. Because they were the best team in the league, and
right.
This is the sum of that. It's like, no, this is not good. But
not good.
Maybe next year. I don't know. I don't know. That window is, open for just a second, and I hope they can make a comeback. It just was a bad memory to go out on.
Yeah, it's definitely bad. So the last part of the podcast is going to focus on the current series that's going on. Let's stick with the game we just saw last night, the Warriors and the Mavericks. So the Warriors are now leading the series 2-0 now. What really happened with, as a recap for this game, the Mavericks were up. Like they came out blazing the first quarter. Luka almost seemed so unstoppable. The threes were falling. They were up by at least 19 before the half. And then the Warriors came storming back in that second quarter, made a little run, and they were up by 14 by halftime. And so effectively they made it a game again, because it's almost on the verge of being a blowout. And then the Warriors picked up steam in the third quarter, as you know how the Warriors do. I would have to talk about the game plan from Jason Kidd. I would get on that later. It's like the lack of an adjustment that really shows something. And basically, if I'm the Mavericks, I feel like I lost one. That's how I would feel. Like, you had the game and you lost it. And they shot a high percentage from three. So it's a wasted opportunity. And shout out Steph Curry, because he was on it last night. He was Steph Curry. And Jordan Poole stepped up, and Andrew Wiggins stepped up. It was really the bench for the Warriors that really stepped up, honestly. Damian Lee had an impact. Otto Porter had an impact, as he normally does. So yeah, it was really the bench that stepped up. Kevin Looney. Looney stepped up huge last night.
First 20-point game since college, he said.
Man, getting interviews after the game, that's how you know you made an impact. So, yeah, what's your reaction to Game 2, and what's your prediction for Game 3?
The Warriors are dangerous, man. Golden State is dangerous. I mean, any other team, you're up 20 in the first half, you're like, all right, we got it. You feel pretty confident, but you can't have that type of confidence against these guys. Shout out to Luka for coming out strong. You know what I mean? With first game, I think they stopped him and he got 20 points. This game, he dropped 42. but it doesn't matter when you play against Golden State. You got to play defense. And I think the Mavericks will be fine as far as their scoring because they have Luka. And I think Luka's gonna be able to have an impact on the game going forward anyway. But when it comes to Golden State, man, it's Steph. You know what I mean? Like the stars just showed up, bro. Like Steph went nuts in that second half. And I mean, what the Warriors do is that the third quarter is just like the number 3 is like, all right, we gotta attack right now or nothing else. Like you're gonna get their craziest run in the third quarter, and then the fourth, you got to stick with it. But like you said, they have to make some big adjustments. Dallas, they have to make some big adjustments and really get these guys, get Curry and Clay, make the other guys beat you. That's what you have to do. Like these guys are gonna score, but try to limit their opportunities as much as possible. Because Steph, even if he's not like scoring 40, 30, they scored 30 last night, but even if he's not doing that, he still is so dangerous just being on the court that you have to be aware of every situation with him and Clay. I would just try to make the other guys beat you. That's what they got to do. But I do hope the Mavericks can make a comeback for Game 3, and especially going back in Dallas. It should be pretty good for them because I know that home crowd's going to be ready. But yeah, man, Golden State is just, they're powerful.
Yeah, they definitely are. And I have to think about the adjustments for the Mavericks. It's like the Warriors came out with an adjustment. They played a zone that worked effectively, and they made sure to block out certain shooters, right? Even though with the zone, there'll be a tendency for someone to be left open. In this case, it was like Josh Green, I think, for the Mavericks. And if you're the Warriors, you want Josh Green to shoot these threes. Like, it's like, who you take a chance on? If somebody, you got to, like, give up something, And that was a good game plan for the most part. Because despite the zone, Luka was still able to get his for the most part. But, yeah, it's definitely interesting. And I don't know. I think there was also a conversation about Jason Kidd why not call timeouts at certain points. When you see the Warriors making these runs, call the timeout and adjust. I think Jason Kidd came out and said there's only so many timeouts, and I get that, but there is a thing called like the game flow. Momentum. There we go. There's a thing called momentum in the game flow. So, you knew exactly what I was trying to come up with. So, if they have it, at least put a stop to it. Timeouts can be tactical in that way, and across all sports, honestly. In football, freeze the kicker, call a timeout before they try it. Same thing. You do the same thing as far as free throws, having the momentum shifting. So use the timeout. It's fine, and get you guys ready again. So I think this game is on Jason Kidd to a certain degree. He had them all ready. Jalen Brunson came out on fire. Spencer Dinwiddie, the support was there on the road, and that's good to see. If you're the Mavericks, that's good to see. But the fact that you lost a lead like that, and you had to come up with a game plan on defense to figure out who you want to leave open. If I'm them, I would deliberately leave like Draymond open, because more times than not he's probably gonna miss it. Most times than not he's gonna miss this open jump shot, right? And the other thing about the Mavericks, attack the paint more. They when you see the zone, they just stuck to the outside for the most part. Attack the zone, force them to come in and collapse and play their part in the zone defense, and then effectively rotate and kick the ball out. Yeah. I just wish they attacked the zone more and attacked the paint more. It's okay to take twos. You don't have to take threes all the time. That's basically the takeaway here. It's okay to take the twos. Go into the paint. Luka did that to a certain degree, but he could have did it more. And he has that basketball IQ to figure out, to figure out what zone it is and who's going to rotate where. So, yeah, those are some adjustments that they can do to make this a series. And as far as Game 3 goes, it is at home for the Mavericks. The Warriors will be on the road. Will these bench players and role players be able to be effective in Dallas? I don't know. But I would predict that the Mavericks would win Game 3. It's just me. And this is my prediction for the rest of the series, all right? I think the Mavericks will win Game 3. I think the Mavericks will win Game 4. Then we'll see. And my prediction for the series is I'm kind of gonna Luka is a great player. Luka is a absolutely great player, and it would be awesome to see if he advances. Dallas has enough shooting around them. They have enough support around them, and just defensive schemes are questionable. And and the fact they don't have an inside presence and rim protector to really help them out, that's questionable to me. Whereas the Warriors, you do. You have key defensive guys. They have that championship DNA. So, and just be clear, I have a bias against the Warriors. So, but smart to the smart move is to pick the Warriors and win the series in 6. But part of me also wants to go for the Mavericks, though. Part of me wants to go for the Mavericks, though. I ain't gonna lie. Part of me does want to, but to pick the smart pick, honestly, it's probably gonna be Warriors. It's gonna be Warriors in 6 for me. How about you?
I agree with you. The Warriors look and feel like the Warriors of old, and they're back to championship form. I think I'm predicting that the Warriors will probably win it in 6 or 7, but I am rooting for the Mavericks. I am rooting for Luka to. I want to see. Honestly, I'll go ahead and say this. I want to see another Heat Mavericks finals. Honestly, I mean, if I'm being real, obviously I'm a Miami fan, and obviously 2006 was against Dallas. 2011 we lost to Dallas, and now they're in the conference finals. We're in the conference finals, so I'm like, yeah, let's make it happen. Let's do it again, so we can get this, 1-1 with Dallas right. We get 2-1 championship run over them. But I mean, it's hard, man. I really, really deep down want the Mavericks to win, but the way Golden State plays, and they seem like they've gotten better each round. It looks like I'll agree with you. I'll agree with you that Warriors in 6 is probably what it's going to be, but I hope that Luka can prove us all wrong. So.
Yeah, let's say we're in the same boat as far as that goes. I deep down, I really want the Mavericks and Luka to win.
I want to see it.
Yeah, but the smart pick, like the logical, NBA, mindset is okay, the Warriors are clearly the better team. They have a better defensive philosophy right now. They have a championship experience. They have the others that are very effective, like Jordan Poole. If Jordan Poole wasn't on this team, maybe it'll be a little bit different. But Jordan Poole is literally like Steph Curry, light, basically, because he's like, man, it's crazy how much talent the Warriors have. And Klay Thompson has come back to form now,
He's found his groove.
He's getting back to that Klay Thompson that we know. So I'm just like, good luck to everybody else if you got to deal with this trio. And then this caliber of shooting, and remember, they still have talent for upcoming years that we haven't seen much of yet, like Wiseman. Because that's all they're missing really is the big man. Looney stepped up in that role last night. But if Wiseman can be like the potential big man, that floor spacer and that defender, they could we could potentially see another Warriors like dynasty here, which is scary for everybody around the league. We could potentially see it, but we'll see how that turns out with the players. And they also have Moody. We haven't seen much this year, and he was a lottery pick player as well. But I don't think it was a lottery pick, but he was up there, in the draft. So and Kuminga as well. I mean, it's not fair. it's not fair, man. It's not fair. But yeah, we both going with the Warriors in 6 games. Although we both hope Luka can get it done along with the Mavericks. They need to look at those adjustments, like we said, man. Do those adjustments that we suggested. Like if they play zone, just attack the zone. And if everyone's like on, they can win at least 2 games. And Luka is gonna have to be spectacular to have a chance to win the series. Like he has to be spectacular every single game, and you have to get support from Brunson and Dinwiddie. And I don't know if they can do it. I don't know if they can get the support from the others like that. I don't know if they can get it.
Yeah, I agree. I know Luka. I can count on him to give me buckets, right? But the supporting cast is where it's always questionable. Like I was really shocked to see, and I was happy but shocked to see Dorian Finney-Smith just having a crazy shooting game in that last series, and Spencer Dinwiddie. I know he's capable of it. Still, him working back from ACL tear. Jalen Brunson did what he had to do in Luka's absence and continued that for the most part, but not at the same level. But it just is always a question of, will Luka have the extra support, and really will they be able to get stops? That's what they have to get stops before all else, because offensively they can take care of it on that side, but stopping Steph is almost impossible sometimes. But they have to do something on that end.
Yeah, and try to attack him on defense. Like try to attack him as well. The Warriors had a good game plan. They would often try to. They had Curry hedging for the most part yesterday, but just attack it still. Force Curry to make a decision. Don't just allow the original defender to come back to Luka. Luka needs to be a little bit more aggressive when it comes to that. And there could be other ways to get matchups and mismatches that you want. There are other ways. There are other systems you can run. And other plays you can run to get the desired mismatch. Because the good thing about the Mavericks, they do have 3 guys that can put the ball on the floor and get buckets. You got Brunson, Dinwiddie, and Luka.
Yeah.
If those 3 are on the floor, you should be able to attack Curry because you can't hide them everywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah. I think Jason Kidd is, he has a knowledge in basketball IQ to figure it out. So, yeah, they can do it. And get to the series that's going to come on tonight. Celtics in the Heat. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So now it's going to be the opposite. The Heat is going to visit the Celtics for Game 3. Right? So, the Heat won Game 1. The Celtics won Game 2, and it's mostly thanks to the return of Marcus Smart and Al Horford, who were surely missed from Game 1. So, what's your reaction to Game 2 and your prediction for Game 3?
The Heat acted as if they didn't know that Marcus Smart and Al Horford were going to be suiting up for the Celtics. And Marcus Smart was scoring, was dominant in the game on offense. Marcus Smart. So yeah, I was disappointed, to say the least. Yeah, that's my reaction. I don't know where, everyone went in that game, but it wasn't on the court. But shout out to Jimmy. Jimmy did his thing, and we have to have support. We got to get stops. Tatum was scoring way too easily. Jaylen Brown was scoring easily. Everyone was scoring way too easily. And if anything, our hat has to be hung on defense. Like offensively, once we get into a flow, move the ball, anybody, it can be anybody's night. Jimmy's been amazing. Getting 40-point games, 30-point games. But offensively, I want him to continue to be aggressive, to attack. But defensively is where we need to key in on, because Tatum is getting too many easy buckets. If anything, Marcus Smart doing what he did in game 2, surprising, but I'd rather live with that than getting it from him, Tatum, and Jaylen Brown, because that's a problem. And all three of those guys are not only just scoring, but scoring efficiently. It's easy for them. So, if anything, I want us to really attack Tatum tonight. Really, minimize Jaylen Brown. Make Marcus Smart beat you. Like, if he beats us, he's got to have 50. You know what I mean? But make everyone else except the stars beat you. That's the key here. And I'm predicting a Heat Game 3 win. Obviously, I'm a Heat fan, so I'm biased. So I'm going to say the Heat 7, because I still do. The Celtics are tough, man. And it's a good young team that we're playing against right now. And those guys are emerging into superstars as we speak. Him and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are a terrific duo. But I got to go with my Heat. I got to check to make sure I know who's playing tonight, because I think PJ was hurt, which is scary for me. But key to tonight is Jimmy and Bam need to be aggressive. Bam needs to be a factor. Even if he's not scoring 20, 30, whatever, just attack. Especially now with Robert Williams out, I know that he's not playing for Boston. Tyler Hero, come in, do your thing, play confidently. Max Cruz, been a big, what's the word I'm looking for? Big unlocking for him. He's been great. I hope that PJ is able to play and good to go, and we'll go from there. That's my take on it. But we can't have another game 2 like we did, and it was very disappointing as a Heat fan to lose in Miami when we had a loss in that building in the playoffs until now.
Yeah, it was definitely surprising to see the blowout like that. And I give props to you guys for still fighting though. It wasn't like the Suns. The Suns kind of they kind of dipped out in their game 7, but the Heat still fought and they were trying to get back to it, but it was like just too late. And I hate to bring up this play, but when you have Marcus Smart doing the simple dribble and your guy literally falls, that's not a good look, man. It's not a good look, because Marcus, it wasn't even a complicated dribble move. It was, and he just fell. I can't remember the player that fell right now.
It was Max.
It was Strus, right? It was Strus. Okay, so
I don't know if you've seen Teen Titans Go, but when I saw that and I thought about Cyborg and the Pain bot, all I know is pain. That's what that I was like. Of all people, it's Marcus Smart making the ball. Marcus Smart.
And he knocked down the shot.
And oh my God, I was just like,
embarrassing.
This is all right. This is an anomaly. I want to run it back, but that's not how the NBA works. So that was painful to watch.
Yeah,
but I hope Max is ready and he comes out and just lights it up.
I don't expect Marcus Smart to have another defensive game like that, because he was like on one, and he's doing Larry Bird type shots out here. You remember the over the backboard shot?
It was like they couldn't miss.
Not at all.
I was just like, man, this is that's an anomaly. They're not gonna shoot that well every night. They gotta defend like they can shoot that well every night.
Not that well. They can't shoot that well.
That was insane.
No, and the thing about Boston, they do have the length and size to defend, and
they do.
That's the only issue here if you're the Heat, because Jaylen Brown can attack. Jason Tatum's going to attack. And these guys have length and size to them as offensive players, right? And not only that, they both can defend. It's not really much nowhere you can really attack. Really, the only one you can definitely attack is Pritchard whenever he gets on the floor, but he's not like starter. But that's the only way. And so I guess the only thing I can think of is Bam has to play a lot better. Bam has to be like that second star. Like he has to step up. That's the only hope that he have, honestly. Jimmy, I believe in Jimmy. He'll continue to play well. Tyler Hero is gonna have to step up too. It takes the others. Tell me why I forgot about Victor Oladipo for a second.
Yes, he's been doing good. He's not the same as like all-star status.
I know, but still, that's
an impact player for us. And if he can give us a couple of corner threes and attacking the rim at least, that's all I ask.
Yeah.
Defensively, let's get some stops though.
Because he is another ball handler that can at least drive. I trust his ball handle ability. But the good news is that Kyle Lowry is coming back. He is definitely someone that will make an impact, hopefully. I know you're not a big fan of him, but I think a lot of your hope rests on Kyle Lowry right now and his impact.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that he's important to the team, and it's not just what he does on the court. Like off the court, he's still a leader.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, no slight to him at all. But I'm not the biggest fan of Kyle Lowry. I think that he has the ability. He just has to bring it out every night.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes, but we'll see how he plays.
I hope he's healthy. I mean, if I get it, we got a lot of people that are, questionable, but
yeah,
I don't want him to come out tonight and just because, we're it's not like we're in a bad situation. It's 1-1, and if we lose one, we still have a chance to tie it up. It's not like we're going down 3-1. So
yeah,
we'll
but
see.
I think the other thing that works in your favor, Robert Williams, is he actually out?
They said he was out tonight, but we'll see. Guys may change it up.
Yeah, I'll check for the update real quick and see. But right now, we'll see. It's just like I'm still not sure if he's playing yet.
Check Woj's page.
Yeah, he is out tonight. He is. He's out with left knee soreness.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's out. So, but are you guys playing too? Let me see. Yeah, Max Strus is still playing too. So, all right. Well, I don't know. It just depends. You guys, I think you guys can definitely win one in Boston.
We need to steal one.
I think to get home court back, you gotta get one. I think y'all get one of these road games. If it's not tonight, it'll be game 4. But just for sake, I predict them for game 3 that the Heat will win. I think the Celtics will not be as prepared for Lowry's return. I think all the others will contribute. I'm predicting that Bam will have a big night. One of his better playoff performances, along with Jimmy Butler. So I think you guys will lead the series 2-1. And as for my prediction for the rest of the series, yeah, I can't go for the Heat, bro. I'm sorry. Realistically, I think the Celtics are the better team. They have the better players, honestly. Now, if he had more support, maybe I would change my pick. But they have Tatum and Brown, they have Al Horford, Marcus Smart. They have all these defensive players with length. Whereas the Heat, you do have Max Strus, and who's a good player, but I'm not sure he pushes the needle like talent-wise compared to the Celtics. I think the Celtics clearly have more talent than the Heat, at least as of right now. It's tough. I don't know. I don't know more depending on how tonight goes. If I watch this tonight and see how it happens, maybe it'll be enough to change my opinion. But right now, I think it'd be like Celtics and
That's cool.
Celtics in 6. Hopefully, can get to the 7. But I'm thinking probably Celtics and I'll be more respectful. Celtics in 7. It can be Celtics in 7 based on how things go. But if y'all lose tonight, Celtics in 5. Depending on how it goes, bro. I think y'all still get that one game.
So which one is it? 5, 6, or 7?
All right, for real, legitimately, I don't know respect for you guys and the Heat. Celtics in 6 for sure.
Okay.
Celtics in 6.
Hey,
Based on what I see tonight, it can go both ways. I'm like, ooh, y'all have a blowout. Okay, we might be 7 games. If it's like close, I may be still thinking, okay, could be 6. And if you guys lose, like bad, I ain't winning the game this series. I don't know. I will see.
Okay.
But for real, my official pick, Celtics in 6.
Okay.
I'm hoping for 7 though. I'm hoping for 7. But
Me too. I want to get a good competitive series and just show the world, So we'll see.
so of course you're going for the Heat. So you're saying 7 games, team 7?
Heat and 7. I respect the Celtics enough to give them that much of it's gonna be a brawl, I think. So that's my prediction.
Do you think the Heat is a better team than the Celtics?
I think so. I think when it comes to collectively, their identity is that they're underdogs. That they're
true.
No one expected 2020 to happen, right? Mm-hmm. No one expected them to go to the bubble and battle with the Lakers. No one expected Jimmy Butler to be an all-star player like he is, and not just defensively, but offensively.
True.
He's having one of the better playoff runs that we've seen in a while. So I think that's where them collectively as a team thrive. Yeah, you might have all-stars in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And yeah, you got length, but when they play their brand of basketball, which is tough defense, we're gonna hound you all night and we're gonna outshoot you. Or, Jimmy's just gonna bully you. I think they're hard to stop, very hard to stop. So that's why I think that they have a better collective team. I think they're a better team overall. Whereas the Celtics, they have a deep team, but I don't think the chemistry is as strong as Miami.
Okay, I hear you. We'll see what happens if Tyler, Hero, and all the others will be able to help Jimmy. That's the thing, because I believe in Jim. I believe Jim will do what he can.
Yeah,
but
sure.
It's like it's all about the others for me, and Boston's others seem to be better than the others for the Heat right now. Right. Because the others have shown up for Boston compared to the Heat right now. So we'll see. It's gonna be an interesting game in the rest of the game. Hopefully it's a good series, both of these games. Any final thoughts before we head out?
Heat and 7.
Heat and 7. Got you.
Let's go Heat. That's all I got.
Yeah. I mean, deep down, I'm hoping everything works out for the Heat, but we'll see.
I can't go against my guys.
Of course, man. Of course. Yeah.
But I understand why. I understand what you mean.
Yeah. All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoy the games tonight and tomorrow. We'll be back next Saturday around this time. Check out our YouTube. Also follow our Facebook pages as well. We got a whole bunch of things you can follow us on. We also have a website that's up now. That's pretty cool. We have a list of playlists and different podcast links to go into. We thank you all so much for your support. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, share this content to other basketball heads and other people that love talking basketball and sports. If you have any business inquiries, you can go to our website and contact us through that way. And yeah, it's been awesome. Enjoy the games. This is QtheGuru. I'm signing off.
I'm Zay, the executive producer, and make sure y'all hit that notification bell for when we post new videos on YouTube. Subscribe, like, share, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, every podcast platform. Thank you, and we'll see you next time. What up, what up, what up? Thank you for tuning in to the Swish Masters Podcast, and thank you to our sponsor, SS96. Visit ss96.net and use the promo code Swish Masters for 15% off. Yeah, that's right. You heard me right. 15% off on all store items. Hats, hoodies, t-shirts, whatever you need, SS96 has it. Also, don't forget to go and check out that music from Straight Stoner, produced by yours truly. You know what it is, Gut Gang, mobbing, sleepwalking. We out here. Thank you.
Oh.